split-second decision about what I was going to say at the beginning. We got no Christian Piles here on episode 1145 of FloWrestling Radio Live. But I'll tell you what you do have. 4 people who have spent about 2% of the last half decade in the city of Fargo, North Dakota. Am I right? It's John Kozak. He's going to be in Fargo next week with me, as will I. I'm David Bray. We've got to the left, Andrew Spey. He's going to Fargo tomorrow.
Tomorrow night.
And left of Spey, it's Tyler Meisinger. Going to Fargo tomorrow night as well. Man, are you guys ready for Fargo coming up?
We have a late flight, so there's still some time today and then tomorrow. I'm not totally ready, though, because we're going to get to all the Fargo stuff very shortly. But I just want to say I've been getting lots of emails about, like, we're pumping out all that content, like all the ranked people, all of the guys that are committed to colleges, and there's some stuff missing. And I have not gotten around to responding to all those emails and get everything up. It's just I've been in spreadsheets until my eyes bleed. But we'll get there. And I appreciate everybody sending info and letting us know what we missed. We asked you to do that, so I do appreciate it. Just haven't gotten around to it yet, but thank you for all the messages so far.
That's a great segue to today's topic, which is going to be spreadsheets and email.
Oh, good, good.
No, just kidding. Kozak, what's going on here this week? Where should we start?
Yeah, a lot to talk about. A lot of, obviously, Fargo preview show. We're going to be really Fargo intensive, but I think we'll start with Ben Askren releases his video, and man, really heartfelt. Man, it was a little hard to watch, but also incredible to see Ben and to see, like, man, it's still the Ben that we know and love. And just major thoughts on seeing Ben for the first time in 6 weeks or so.
Yeah, anybody who listens to this show regularly knows, Mark Bader was there right at the beginning when Ben was first hospitalized in Las Vegas, and it's been such a saga since then. Hard to believe. One of the things I forgot, it's been since late May. He's been dealing with this the entire month of June. All that just sort of lost, and to hear Ben speak and just to hear him speak at all was something we didn't know for sure what we were going to be able to do, and so to hear him speak was really incredible, and just knowing that he has so much appreciation for the wrestling community and such a desire that the desire he's always had is even stronger to continue to give back more. And just an incredible person. What a fighter. And feels like the beginning of this next chapter of recovery.
Yeah. It's hard to get through.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, we heard early on, like, Ben's not doing good. He's, on the ventilator, sedated. And so it's serious, but then there's something different about seeing him in that state where it's like, whoa. And then to hear him talk about how his heart stopped 4 different times. And it just puts in, I think, just fuller picture of, like, how serious it really was, and just how life altering, it will be for the future for him. But man, you love to see, you love to see the video, and you love to just hear him talk about how he wants to get healthy again so that he can help people, so that he can continue to give back to the sport. And I think that's what we all love about Ben, is how he really does just have a heart for other people and to help people, and we know that, and it's just really cool to see.
Yeah, it was obviously wonderful news. It was so incredible. It was miraculous, but it was also real heavy. He's talking about his family. He's talking about what he went through. He had a Tom Sawyer moment where he was like, he woke up and he was able to witness what people would say at his own funeral.
Yeah.
I don't know, that'd be impossible to even appreciate what that would be like until you go through it. Like, it's just kind of mind-blowing and mind-numbing a little bit. So, it's amazing. It was great to see, but gives you a lot to think about.
Yep.
It's one thing to hear a lot of people's perspectives about Ben, and to appreciate what he's meant to people over the last few weeks. But it was another thing for me to hear it from his mouth, because Ben's always been somebody that he doesn't need people to speak on his behalf. He's he's gonna say what he's gonna say, and he's gonna mean it. And so I just thought it was very fitting and just really special to finally kind of get his initial perspective on this. And
he's a He's an amazing guy.
Yeah. One of the things that, I was talking with Andy Hamilton about, which is, maybe a little lighter note in a transition, but imagine being Ben and then waking up and then just all of the wrestling news that's happened over the last 6 weeks. He's like learning about it all at once. I mean, that would be a crazy,
That's
crazy
a Christmas
thing too.
day for him too. Is like opening up all these like presents of information about stuff that he's missed and how he can get caught up to speed. It was obviously it's not a fun time when you're in a hospital with all the tubes and all that nonsense, but knowing that you've gotten past the hardest part and now you can kind of play catch up. It's like now look at all this bounty of wrestling that you can dig into.
And that was something that Bader even talked about throughout the process has been like, because he couldn't be fully awake there. He would still be on the pain medication or whatever they had him on, the sedation. But with however he could communicate, I don't know how he was doing it, but a lot of his first questions were about wrestling.
Yeah, of course.
Give me the results.
Yeah,
Who won these tournaments?
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So definitely look forward to hearing Ben's opinions on everything that went down over the last 6 weeks.
You can stronger so we can get that record again.
Yeah, you can continue to support Ben and his family. I think we have like links in our bios on Instagram of how you can give, buy T-shirts and all that.
Absolutely. And if you're compelled to give, that link in our bio is I think probably the best way to do it. It's a fund that's like specifically set up to help people in medical situations. So it's it's not just a GoFundMe or something. It's like it's gonna really help. So
what was crazy too is looking at the Instagram post that Ben made and seeing, I mean, it millions of people or however many people were on there, but the breadth of the types of people that Ben has touched and been, people are a fan of his from all over the world, like super famous. There's like Bert Kreischer in there, who's a pretty famous comedian, all the way to just like random people that are from other parts of, I don't know what genres of entertainment or something, are all like, okay, this is a good guy that we need to support. It was just, I don't know, it's just cool to see. It's so random, and you're like, wait, that guy's an Askren fan? Like, this guy knows Ben? Like, all the stuff.
Yeah, he's one of those few guys that, like, if I get texts from non-wrestling people about wrestling, it's a lot of times it's around Ben Askren news. Yeah.
He had obviously the MMA career, but he really transcends any sport, any activity.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So. Cool. Well, yeah, keep praying for Ben. You can support him, and just definitely looking forward to seeing the continued progress that he makes here in the next coming weeks. Before we get into Fargo, and we'll be talking about Ben again next week for the All Quarter Century team, right?
Yes.
174. But this week, 165. I don't think we haven't announced the results yet.
No.
Have we? Before we do that, David, I know you kind of went in hard about this is like an unbelievable weight class that there were so many guys left off the top four. You want to break that down a little bit, and then Tyler, you want to announce the results?
Sure will.
Yeah, this was absolutely the hardest weight class to deal with, and this was the stat that to me kind of puts it in perspective. There are 6 guys over the last 25 years at 165 that won multiple NCAA titles that didn't make the top 4. And some other guys that also didn't win too, but that were like just as good. We've got a video coming out later about breaking that all down. But you think about the last 25 years. Donnie Pritzloff, he won the first title, and that was his second. He, by the way, beat in the finals in overtime twice Joe Heskett, who only had 1 title, but he was in the finals 3 times. So Donnie Vincent, Donnie Pritzloff, Donnie Vincent. Donnie Vincent didn't win, but he's very good too.
He beat Kyle Dake, right?
He also did, yeah. Anyway.
Pritzloff, New Jersey GOAT, shouts.
Yeah. Donnie Pritzloff, two-time champ. Johnny Hendricks, 2-time champ. Would have been a 3-time champ if not for another 2-time champ, Mark Perry, beating him in the finals. After Hendricks, I think, had won like 6 straight against Perry. So you got those 3. Vincenzo Joseph won 2 titles, and he only got 3 chances because COVID cut his senior year short. So who knows? Maybe he could have been a 3-timer. Chenzo was in that mix. Who else was in that mix? Keegan O'Toole.
Yeah.
He won 2 titles. Keegan O'Toole wrestled for 5 years for Missouri, only had 5 total losses. Didn't make the top 4.
Yeah.
And then David Carr won 2 titles, one at 165, one at 157. I think we ranked him as a 57 pounder, so he wasn't in the consideration here.
But people are probably asking. I'm sure there's a lot of David Carr supporters out there that
Yes.
would question why his name has not come up in these top 4 yet.
That's 6 multiple-time NCAA champs. And Mitchell Mesenbrink, by the way, all signs are pointing to him being a multiple-time champ, so that would be 7. And those guys are all outside the top 4 at 165. How crazy is that?
It's the weight class of weight classes. It's there was a stretch where you could probably guess who these 4 people are, but like the Hodge Trophy was just in a string. I think it was like 4 in a 6-year span. We're all 165 pounders, and it was just whoever wins this weight class is the best in college wrestling. And it was pretty well figured and accepted that you're going to get your best matches at this weight. I mean, the era that a lot of these guys come from that we're about to mention was absolutely insane, because now there's all these other people that wrestled in that era that were blocked from winning. Like, they very well could have been 2-3-time champs even. I mean, you can imagine a world without 3 or 4 people in it, or, they picked a different sport or whatever. And now we're talking about all these other guys from that era that are in that mix.
Spay, you know who I didn't mention that could have been a multiple-time champ, but just won one? Troy Letters. Gotta talk about him.
We got to have the Mountain Hawks in there. Troy Letters had a dominant senior season. It was really energized the Mountain Hawk program back then. I think it was the Strobel era.
Yeah. Well, he really only had 3 seasons because he had injury, one of those. So he's another guy that kind of could have done more, but did plenty. Yeah. But our final 4, you guys already know. You've seen the posts in chronological order. First, it was Jordan Burroughs, who talked about on the last show. Then it was Kyle Dake, and then David Taylor, and then Alex Derringer. Those are the final 4, all multiple-time champs. Burroughs and Taylor each won 2. Derringer won 3. Dake won 4. Rock solid top 4.
They all won Hodges.
They all won Hodges. David Taylor won 2. 5 Hodges between the 4. That's pretty insane.
Pretty good.
All right, Tyler, you ready? You ready to release the final rankings?
First up, we got our 4th team all quarter century 165 pounder is Alex Derringer.
The ringer.
Man, it says so much that this guy is
an afterthought.
4th best,
Yeah,
ranked 4th.
Yeah.
In this list.
This is the first time I think that we've had a unanimous 4th. Like, it was just like unanimous, which is not an insult to Derringer. It's a testament to the other guys. But Alex Derringer had, I think, 133 wins, which is the 2nd most wins ever in Oklahoma State program history. You think about Oklahoma State and all of the tradition and the guys who have gone through there. For him to be 2nd in wins is pretty nuts. Throw the Hodge Trophy in the mix, man.
One of the comments I saw on this week was, man, Derringer was 165. He's huge now. It's like, dude, he was 157 before. It's kind of wild to think about.
He's so strong. Like, I posted that clip of him because we post highlights of all these guys like during the week. I pulled that clip of him just like running through guys. It was insane.
2 things. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
2 things I like about Alex Derringer is, one, his last name. If you put it into Google Translate, it's German for the wrestler.
D
Are you
Ringer.
serious?
Yeah, Die means the, and Ringer.
It's D.
D.
Yeah.
What?
That's how you say it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No sprechen Sie Deutsch. But yeah. So
Sorry.
That's cool.
I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah. No.
I am that. Yeah.
No, I'm glad you're that guy because Spay is normally that guy.
That's true.
Anyway, duh, Ringer.
It's the money ringer.
And then like ringer is like fighter or pugilist or can be translated as wrestler. That's what they call. You tell me, Kozak, but the ringen Bundesliga.
Yeah, sure.
It means wrestling top league.
Sure. Yeah.
And also, people forget he's from Wisconsin because he spent so much time outside that state. But he kind of jump started that whole. He was one of the pioneers of like Wisconsin being a power state. I mean, it was always good. It was always a Midwestern state that produced a lot of talent, but it really kicked into overdrive after starting with the DeRinger era.
And
Wrestler.
Yeah.
We talked about one time Kozak like who the best guy to maybe never make a
World team. Yeah.
might be Alex Derringer. Like he was ranked.
He's in that
top 50 in the
conversation.
World,
Yeah.
multiple times. Right?
Dude, you know what?
He should unretire.
Now that you say that, you know who else I forgot to talk about? Friggin' Andrew Howe.
Andrew
Dang.
Howe and Tyler Caldwell are
Jeez.
both the guys that I was thinking of in that era that ran into these monsters
Yeah.
and could never get to the top of the podium in the college in NCAA.
Andrew Howe, I think, is also in that category with Ringer of like guys that if they would have made a world team, you would have felt pretty confident they're going to bring home a medal. There was that, really
Yeah.
good. But
Used to love watching Howe at like Euregan just like folding dudes in half with his hands that like people were not used to that hand fight.
yeah. But yeah, Alex Deringer, I mean, just an absolute beast. That clip of him retiring, man, did you guys see that going around? I don't remember who posted that, but that last match he had against Burroughs, yeah, it was fitting.
All right. Third team All-American, or not All-American. What are we calling this? Third team All-Quarter Century 165-pounder is two-time Hodge Trophy winner, two-time NCAA champion, four-time NCAA finalist, David Taylor.
GT.
Man.
Does anyone think there's an argument that David Taylor could be #1?
It's really hard with the 3 losses to Kyle Dake.
Yeah.
But I think by the way, we've plugged Andy's articles on here, but you guys got to read this one. He got the chance to interview Kyle Dake, and I think something really interesting that came out of that interview is Dake tells the story of accepting that All-Star Classic match with David Taylor. And they had wrestled at the Olympic trials, and Dake was still trying to decide if he was going to go 157 or 165 for the year. And the All-Star Classic people were like, oh, maybe we do a catch weight. Maybe you weigh in like 161 or something like that. And Dake was like, we wrestled like 63 and change. Let's just go 65. It's fine. And apparently Kyle Dake expected to win in like somewhat dominant fashion in that match. He thought it wasn't going to be that close. I don't know about not close, but he thought it'd be convincing. And when it was close in the All-Star Classic, that was really what compelled Kyle Dake to stick around at 165 and want to get that match back. He's like, man, I got to wrestle this guy again. Imagine if that match goes differently and Dake stays at 57. I think in that case, Spay, there would be a really strong argument for David Taylor at #1. 2 Hodges, 4-time finalist.
Could have been 3 Hodges if no Dake.
Yeah.
Could have been 3. And if there's, so I don't think there's, in the history we saw play out, I don't know that I can really see the argument, but I think it was, one decision or one outcome away from really strong case.
Plus, if he doesn't get cradled, I mean, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Obviously, Bubba Jenkins gets the credit for getting the win, but that's the thing. What if he's a 3-time champ, dominant, kills everyone, and then Dake just barely squeaks by, or just has close matches, not barely squeaks by. And then the thing I always go back to is David Taylor scored more team points than Kyle Dake their senior year when Dake beat Taylor.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're picking a guy that you need to score points for the NCAA championships, it's almost like even if he doesn't win a title, you're still picking David Taylor. Now, for reasons of, the losses to Dake, I didn't put David Taylor ahead and other factors with Jordan Burroughs. But I do think it's interesting to think of like, hey, you can still, the 2 Hodges, the dominance, the tech falls, the pins. David Taylor is as an impressive a college wrestler as I've ever seen. It's just he didn't get it done his senior or his freshman year, and then he ran into Dake his junior year.
Mm-hmm. Connor and I have been working on some of these videos each week to release. And like one of the things we were talking about yesterday after we filmed the 165 video is in how many of these weight classes, like the best, the top wrestler of the quarter century comes down to like one moment or just one situation. I mean, these guys wrestled, dozens and dozens, over 100 matches each, all of them, but a lot of times it's one little thing like that. It's one little thing, one Dake decision or one Bubba Jenkins pin, and it changes how you perceive of all these guys. And similarly, the probably the best example is the Logan Stieber, Jordan Oliver, what would now be a takedown, but wasn't. And that, shapes, we would have had 2 3-timers and one of them with 2 head-to-head wins. And now instead we got this. It's the same, right? Like I totally agree, Spay. If it's one little change, one little difference, David Taylor, he might be #1.
But that's the fun of the all-quarter century team. We're putting greatness into perspective. And there's, the fun is talking about it, not, okay, these are the results and they're etched in stone and no one can ever change them.
Yeah.
All right. We ready to reveal the champions? And should we say this was the closest race so far?
Yeah, and by far.
In the quarter century in our quarter century list, decided by the fan vote.
Yes,
right?
this is the first weight class that really came down to the fan vote. And the thing that I think is really interesting about this particular weight class is not only how split the votes were for the top two, but how absolutely certain almost everybody is that it's either Jordan Burroughs or Kyle Dake. There are very few people that I've talked to that are like, it's super close. It could go either way. Like, everybody is either convinced it's Kyle or they're convinced it's Jordan. And so it did. It came down to the fans.
Yep. All right, Tyler.
It's really split the FloWrestling team up. I've been starting fights.
Yeah. You and Ollie almost. Well, you guys did fight yesterday.
Ollie
you
picked
threw
a fight with me.
You threw a chair at him.
Ollie thought neither of these guys should be number one, actually, at first.
Yeah. All right, take it away.
Our second team, all quarter century, 165 pounder is Jordan Burroughs.
Whoa.
A lot of people don't
means-
agree, especially I think all four of us.
Yep, I
But-
voted for Burroughs, but
Hey, the fans spoke, and other people had votes here in the office. So
I said I was just here for the good time. Just here to watch it all play out. Yeah.
Which means our number one is Kyle Dake.
Kyle Dake.
yeah.
yeah, you can't be disappointed with a guy like Kyle. I mean, it's not like you're even if you believe vehemently that it should be Jordan Burroughs. It's like, all right, Kyle Dake is one of one, and this is a
be mad
guy.
about
Although even Ringer and then other guys, but the top three. It's like these are legends. These are Mount Rushmore consideration guys. We're only talking about college, but look at what they did on the international stage and at the Olympics.
Yeah.
I mean, they are all legends, and there are no wrong answers with those guys. And Kyle Dake and Jordan, they're special wrestlers, but it came down to the thinnest of margins.
These three guys, 4 Hodges, 11 world and Olympic gold medals, and 23 medals overall. Is that true? Is that
I think there's more than
Say that again?
11, right?
Burroughs has 7.
Oh, yeah.
Burroughs got 7.
15.
15.
15 golds, 23 medals. I mean, like this is a group that is just insane. But, I think as I was looking at it, the case for Jordan Burroughs and why I ultimately leaned toward Jordan was, I mean, his last 2 years, he was undefeated. His senior year, 36-0, 33 bonus point wins. I mean, just that is a level of dominance that's crazy. And it just looked like if he wanted to take you down, he was going to do it as many times as he wanted to. Like he was unreal. And he was his offense was so potent. He was on a mission, and on the other side, the argument for Kyle Dake is not only the 4 titles. I think a lot of people, the 4 titles is just easy. It's like, all right, 4 titles, but beating David Taylor 3 times that's unbelievable. And Jordan Burroughs had really good opponents too. He beat Caldwell. He beat Andrew Howe, who was one of the best guys. He had beat Mike Poeta. He had really good wins, but beating David Taylor 3 times
And going up a weight.
and going up a weight.
He could have easily been. So, a little bit of how we decided everything. I put Kyle Dake, even though he had his most impressive season at 165, to me he was a 157 pounder because he was going up to take on David Taylor to make it a challenge. But he could have been at 157. So which weight do you put Dake at?
Yeah.
I was thinking put him at 57. Then we got Dake, and then you have Burroughs, and then you don't have this contentious debate. But that's what it's all about. That's the whole quarter century team.
A little peek behind the curtain. We had to hold a vote in the office over whether
Where he should be at.
where Kyle Dake and where Jordan Burroughs should be.
Yeah.
And some people wanted them separated because they wanted the best team. But some of us wanted some chaos. Some of us thought that they both had their best years at 65. So
Well, and kind of like what David said earlier is this comes down to a moment. What are they known for? And Kyle Dake is known for a lot of things, known for winning 4 titles at 4 different weight. But his moment was going up in weight at 165, beating Dake. Like, that is the lore of what Kyle Dake did. And then on the other side of that, with Jordan Burroughs, I think he is almost a victim of his own success in freestyle because everyone thinks, oh, Jordan Burroughs, freestyle. Jordan Burroughs, Olympic champion, world champion. Yeah, he had success against Dake and Taylor in freestyle. But so it's almost like his collegiate career, his folk style career is overlooked so much because of what he did in the freestyle scene. And so that's why I think when people vote this, they're like, oh yeah, if it was freestyle, it'd be Jordan. But because it's folk style, it's Kyle Dake.
It's a real difficult, nuanced argument to make, to say, I'm not taking freestyle results into account, but I'm saying because he did so well in freestyle, I know that senior year of Burroughs was better than David Taylor and Kyle Dake. And now some people wouldn't accept that anyway, but I think that's how you look at it. You go, look, no one was beating Jordan Burroughs that year. Nobody in the world. And it doesn't matter anybody's peak. Like, that was the best American wrestling season of college, or basically, like, you can't top that.
I mean, you could make the same argument though for Dake in 2013 in folk style, whereas like who's beating that guy in folk style, because he just took out David Taylor, where everyone thought, who's beating David Taylor in folk style? Nobody is. Nobody's doing what he is. And so that's where the legend of Kyle Dake is so strong in college wrestling.
And to add some data to that point of, this is in Kyle Dake's favor that I didn't really consider, but it's something that you can use for an argument of no one was more important than Kyle Dake to the sport that 2013 season, because look at the TV ratings, and it's something that's a little hobby of mine. You go back and you try to find them or whatever, but it was like double the TV audience for those finals, David Taylor versus Kyle Dake, and it's undeniable that that's the reason that drove that traffic. More people were, anybody that had any connection to wrestling were like, all right, well, I have to watch this NCAA finals. And, it's fluctuated for other reasons around there. But that set the record. That's the gold standard for hype in college wrestling. It never got bigger than that. And frankly, these guys have spoiled us, because all the winning and all the success they've had, it's hard to put it into perspective. It's hard to actually appreciate what they've done.
Yeah. Here's what I want to know. Is the result of this vote ruining the Piles family vacation today?
It might be.
Because
so.
If Christian were on this show, we would not have a Fargo preview at all.
No,
It would be
an hour.
It would be an hour
Of CP.
Man, I really do wish I could like go back and relive both the year of the Dake Taylor, like not knowing what was going to happen. That was so fun of just, whoa, they're going to wrestle in the All-Star Classic. And like, yeah, but he's probably going to go back down. And then no, he's staying up, and Southern Scuffle. And I mean, it was so fun. But similarly, that Jordan Burroughs, Andrew Howe, I remember that summer, that off season where Burroughs was like, I'm going up. I'm doing it so that when I get done with college wrestling, I can do 74 kilos. And then you're like, Burroughs Howe is going to be crazy, and we're going to get it at Midlands. And then we did, and it was awesome. And Burroughs won. And oh man, those were both like two of my favorite years as a wrestling fan, where you have these unreal matchups to look forward to, and they delivered. Those were great years.
I mean, the other part about this vote too is that we don't have criteria, so it's not like your criteria could be different than mine. Who wins at their peak is, I think, the way.
Purposefully, we don't have criteria.
Yeah, we purposely don't, because it's like, oh, it's fun to leave it up for interpretation.
That was a debate too, and it was pretty quickly almost unanimously settled. Like, we're not just adding up numbers and getting to a result that we can back up the way we would rather do with rankings, monthly or weekly collegiate rankings or whatever we're doing. This is not who won the most medals, who did the most in college, blah blah blah. This was, all right, what's your perspective on these guys, and why are you voting that way? And then let's just hash it out.
Yeah, like Adam in the chat is saying, Dake had as many NCAA titles as number 2 and number 3 combined. And like on the last show, Christian mentioned like, okay, if you want to just make it a math problem, then that's easy. But like he also said, are you really going to count Dake's freshman and sophomore year where he had losses to Evan LaValle and all these guys? The answer is no. Like, you're probably going to compare both of them in their primes when you're thinking about this. So
sometimes, you're in the EIWAs, you're wrestling a great Coloradan, and it's just, things happen,
It just proves that the EIWAs are harder to win than NCAAs.
I think it just proves about the strength of opponents from Colorado.
I mean, all right, both are 100% true. We agree.
Wrestle Madness has been in the chat every single time we've announced winners, by the way. He's so mad that we don't have criteria for this.
Yeah.
He thinks that it's a crime, which, you know what?
That's all part of our engagement hack.
Yeah.
Lock us up.
Yeah.
Well, Wrestle Madness, I implore you to come up with the objective criteria, and we'll run the numbers yourself, and we'll talk about them, or we'll run the numbers, whatever you want to do.
Some people want the quarter century criteria to extend beyond the quarter century.
There was a person that said, you need to talk more about guys that wrestled in the 90s. They haven't gotten their respect. And I said, for the whole quarter century team? How do I even respond to that? I'm sorry, man. Like, maybe we'll do an all 30-year or 40-year team, but this is... That's the one criteria that we are sticking to. It's the last 25 years.
Yeah. All right. So that's quarter century talk. Fargo preview. Before we get to that, I think it's good to mention the promotion that we're leading up to Fargo. We got some t-shirt models here. David, you want to tell what we got going on?
You guys like my shirt?
I like your shirt.
I love it.
You guys like this?
Oh, dude, nice shirt, dude.
You guys like Tyler's shirt?
Could you tell me more about these nice shirts?
Oh, look at the back.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, let's get the.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. Oh, good. From the front to the back.
Wow.
Man, that's great. These shirts, if you guys sign up for an annual membership, you're gonna get a shirt like this. You gotta go claim it though. Don't forget that step. After you sign up, you'll get an email, and then you gotta go in there, claim that shirt. Sign up, and by the way, sign up for the year. Not only do you get the shirt, but you get to watch the best wrestling on the planet all year long. We got World Championships coming up after Fargo. We got a bunch of incredible college, how many college wrestling events that you guys aren't going to want to miss. It's going to be a great year on FloWrestling.
World Championships.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's such a great value. And I'm not saying that $150 is nothing. I'm not saying that, everybody listening, especially if you're in school or you're younger, you want to see all this stuff and you're either used to going to YouTube or whatever. But $150, that's 12 months. That's everything in a year. You pay it once, forget about it, fill out the form, get the free shirt. And look, the shirts are obviously popular because otherwise we did it for Final X. And then our accountants, our marketers, all the bean counters figured out, hey, this is actually working. People want this. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, they were like, look at all these. Hey guys, come look at these beans and what they're telling us.
Yeah.
Get the shirts back out there.
They counted them up and said, that's what they say.
The shirt is July 12th through 19th. So if you sign up today, you will not get the shirt.
Don't sign up today.
If you sign up between the 12th and the 19th.
Thank you for that important piece of information.
That is good info. Yeah.
Today's the 10th.
Yes.
Wait 2 days.
Or if you're watching this 2 days later on YouTube.
Yeah, just
this
look at
site.
your calendar and see if it's the 12th through the 19th.
Yeah.
And sign up. Yeah.
Here we go.
You want 2 shirts? Get 2 annual plans.
Buy one for your friend.
All right.
There you go.
Okay. All right, Fargo talk. We've waited long enough. We've got an hour to talk everything related to Fargo, top stories, golden ticket talk, the potential college stars you want to watch. But I think starting at the top, it wouldn't be a Fargo preview if we didn't talk a little bit of Bo Bassett, Melvin Miller. What does Fargo mean for Bo Bassett?
Well, I think a lot of times when you see a big commitment or somebody flips or whatever, it's around a wrestling result that happens, right? I mean, we've been talking about pound for pound #1 high school wrestler a lot because PJ Duke and Jax Forrest, made it to Final X, and then PJ made the world team. Winning in dominant fashion, I think just brings a recruit to the forefront even more than they already were. Obviously, nobody's had more attention on them probably in the history of high school wrestling than Bo Bassett. But don't forget Bo Bassett and Melvin Miller. I don't know that they're necessarily. I don't know that they're a package deal. I don't think they've made that claim. But it would make sense for them to end up at the same place. And if both those guys go out to have dominant performances like pretty much everybody expects them to, I wouldn't be surprised if that heats the stove a little bit on the recruiting timeline for both those guys.
Yeah. Well, it certainly feels like they could be a package deal just because when Bo decommits from Iowa, then however many hours later, Melvin puts out his list, leaves Iowa off, and says family first. So it feels like they want to be together to some degree, and that there's a really good chance that they will end up together. So do you think Fargo is how important do you think Fargo is for Bo Bassett's commitment and recruitment from here on out?
I think it's important. I think he is expected to be dominant, and I expect him to be dominant. It's odd, but at the U.S. Open, the U20 U.S. Open, and the U20 World Team Trials, he didn't win those events, and I think this is an opportunity for him to win another really big event, and I think he will. And so I think if he does that, like you're going to see the talk heat up. You're going to see programs that maybe haven't been pursuing him like to the same degree that everyone expected them to. Maybe they're back in. Maybe they're they're forcing the issue a little bit more. So I think it can be a really big deal. I think there's some part of like pressure that fan bases put onto coaching staffs, and I think that fan pressure will probably increase if Bo Bassett looks really good, and I think he will. So I don't know. I think it's in the next kind of big event on the calendar, and I think it's a big opportunity. What do you think? What do you guys think?
I think everyone expects both Bo and Melvin to kind of run through Fargo just because of what we've seen and the hype that's been around them and how much success they've had in the past. And so for me, it almost feels like there's pressure there to perform. And so I guess the question that I have is like, should that pressure be there? Should that expectation be there? Is there anybody that can challenge Bo, that can challenge Melvin from and keep them from winning?
I would say there are people that can challenge them, but it's really hard to like name them right now because every year in Fargo you see, and a lot of times it happens with guys who have graduated, they're going to be freshmen in college next year, guys that they're starting to put it together. Maybe they're training in the college room a little bit more. Maybe they're maturing physically a little bit more. And, you just see like just a really strong performance. And, look no further than Melvin Miller's Fargo final last year, where Jimenez that he wrestled was not a guy that you would probably even pick to be in the finals. And he had Melvin Miller all but beat. I mean, 4 seconds left on the clock. You're thinking there's no way that Melvin Miller is going to win this. Melvin came back and got it done. But Melvin had beat bigger, prospects, like more highly ranked guys throughout that entire tournament. But then it turned out the toughest match was one of the finals that you wouldn't have expected. So I don't think that you can expect a cakewalk for either of these guys. I think there's not a name right now, like looking at both those entry lists at 44 and at 65. There's not a guy that I would say this guy's going to take him out. But I think there's probably somebody in there that's really, really good, that's going to give them a run for their money.
Sometimes people have their breakout performances at Fargo too, like the Rainey brothers. Remember, we didn't even know who they were. We're like, who are these Kentucky kids?
Yeah,
showed up at Fargo.
Yeah. Jordan, beat Bo Bassett in Fargo years. I mean, that was 3 years ago. I can't remember what year it was.
I think of which Larkin was it that beat? Was it Mason Gibson or?
Yeah, that was Kyler. That was early Kyler Larkin in like a semi. Right?
And that was when kind of Mason Gibson was like, man, he's got a lot of hype behind him, and it was early match. Larkin takes him out. And it's like, whoa, okay, this guy,
yeah. I like this as a nice reset for Bo, and Melvin doesn't need as much of a reset, but obviously Bo's been such a big name, and hand up, we contributed to that with the recruiting process. We were very much along for that ride, and
no regrets.
Yeah, no regret. Everybody wanted to. Everybody was happy with making more of a spectacle of a recruiting process, for better, for worse. I think for better. But my point is that was a lot. That was a lot of attention, and that's tough for anybody. That's tough for Bo. That's a lot of demands on his family to go on all the recruiting trips or host coaches and stuff. And then you think you're done with that process, but you have other guys in the Bassett household that are still getting recruited, and everything is still going. And it's like, all right, let's hit the reset button. Bo didn't make the U20 World Team. I'm sure that was not what he wanted. We talked to him right afterwards, and he had a great perspective on it. But at the same time, these guys all have goals. They're ultimate competitors, and now he gets to go back, get another tournament. He's going to be a big favorite, but it's going to be no cakewalk. But he does that, and then I really think the recruiting process is going to be a lot more subdued this time, no surprise. And I think there's a lot more going into it. It was like all these top guys. You got 3 programs that are in the running. It was Oklahoma State, Penn State, and Iowa. And I have no inside knowledge whatsoever, but it does feel like this is a reset. We're going to consider everything, and we're going to be a little bit more under the radar about how we choose and what we're looking for, and it could be ultimately a big positive for Bo.
Well, the thing that's changed about the recruiting process from a year ago to now is now Melvin is able to be recruited. And I mean that is a complete game changer, because if a program decides they want one or the other but not both, I think that's probably going to be a tough conversation to even really get very far with the Bassets. It's like, if you want Bo but not Melvin, or Melvin but not Bo. It's like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of so I think that's a huge change, and I think that you're right. That's probably gonna slow things down and make them a little bit more intentional, because now not only are you trying to, you know, figure out where one number one recruit goes, but two, and you know, how do we fit those? And
Could be a program that wasn't being talked about much at all before, that wasn't on the top list, or was it? I mean, I could see there being, again, no inside knowledge whatsoever, but there could be a curveball at the end. There could be a destination that you know, nobody really expected.
There you go.
like Lehigh, that's what you're thinking.
Hey, let's get it done.
Lehigh, Michigan, any of those would be good. All right, so that's Bo Bassett, Melvin Miller talk. I think the weight of the tournament, at least for me, is heavyweight. Juniors, heavyweight. You got top 4 guys are in the bracket. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily know if they'll be on opposite sides, how they'll be separated yet, but you got Drayshawn Ross, you got Kobe Merrill, Michael Mako, and Dean Bechtold. Just hammers, and then 8 of the top 20 overall. David, how do you see this weight playing out? Is there a favorite here, or do you feel like it's a toss-up?
I think Drayshawn is he's a slight favorite. He's the number 1 ranked heavyweight in the country for a reason. He's beaten Kobe Merrill, I think, twice in the U20 circuit. I think he beat him both at the U.S. Open and at the U20 World Team Trials. Could be wrong. Maybe it was just once. Both those matches were super close, if I remember correctly. So I think that makes him a slight favorite. Kobe Merrill beat Michael Mako. I think Mako beat Bechtold, but Bechtold has beaten Mako before in the Super 32 finals too. So I think there is a favorite. I think it's Drayshawn, but I really think any of these 4 guys can win. I also think, there are 8 total nationally ranked heavyweights in this bracket. Jacob Levy's super tough, North Carolina commit. There's a bunch of guys that are good. So don't be surprised if these 4 don't make it to the semis even, because there's a lot of really good competition in there too. So, but yeah, long story short, I do think Drayshawn is a slight favorite to win. And, of course, this is going to have implications for who's number 1, right? Mm-hmm. You win this bracket. You never know, but pretty much guarantees a golden ticket. There it is.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about these bad boys?
Ooh.
Oh yeah. We got a little golden ticket list later.
Hot off the press, right?
Check this. Oh, these are hot off the press. I had a really involved, couple of afternoons with the local FedEx printing employee.
Yeah, shouts to FedEx print shop.
Yeah, especially shout out to Connor Petros too for designing this ticket.
Our guys, you don't see Connor that much, but he's doing so much behind the scenes.
We had these golden tickets. We were getting low. Our stock was about to run out, so Connor Petros redesigned it, got it done.
Yeah, we need a re-up.
Are those available in NFT format?
These are only fungible.
Only fungible.
These are These are a fungible commodity, and there's really not that many ways to get it. This is like,
man,
this is a souvenir for souvenir. You can't buy this. You can't get. I mean, you could copy it.
The amount of utility in that ticket is insane.
Well, that's how you know you have a good fungible commodity.
Yeah.
Most people will trade this ticket for. They don't even have to trade. They get to keep it, but it also usually includes like a plane ticket to who's number 1.
That's right.
And like a hotel ticket,
gear package,
one of a kind gear,
some meal tickets,
some nice meals with your friends.
I want to see that on the Fargo black market.
Oh yeah, that'd be nuts,
dude. That's actually. What if we did that? What if we're like, hey, one kid could just come watch. Who's number 1 here?
Oh man! Wow! Did we just come up with a new idea for the black market?
Yeah, it says this ticket guarantees me a spot.
Yeah.
And who's number 1?
They used to have honorary coaches for who's number 1. That maybe we black market.
Our honorary coach is just like some random
just a kid that's really good at trading gear.
Traded these for the Nike Inflix.
Dude, it would be crazy. What can a kid get for a golden ticket?
You'll be the honorary coach. You get the gear. You get the you won't be in the corner coaching anybody, but you'll be chilling.
The experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. There we go. Well, I don't know. We'll have to we'll run that by our by the people that are in charge of the budget for the event.
Yeah.
More bean counters.
Yeah, we'll get the beans out. To put away those t-shirt beans. Get out the who's number 1 beans.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, that weight class 285 is going to be awesome. I'm very excited for that.
Has Kobe committed yet?
He has not.
No, so he's the only one not committed. His older brother's at Oklahoma State now, but you got
Drayshawn's at Oklahoma, or committed to Oklahoma State.
He's committed to Oklahoma State. Michael Mako at Iowa. Dean Bechtold. The Lehigh man.
We know.
Mountain Hawk.
We know.
Future Mountain Hawk. His brother is at Bucknell, by the way. He looked really good at EIWAs.
Yeah. Is there any read on where Kobe might go or what he's looking at?
I haven't heard. No,
Wow.
I'd be curious. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he'll probably be going to Oklahoma State with his brother. But yeah, we'll find out.
Cool. Another big potential matchup you have here is Joe Bachman versus Sam Herring at 132. And you also have that Bachman might not have any pinpoints. What does that mean?
Yeah. So the way that Fargo brackets are seeded is it's based on pin points, which that's USA Wrestling's kind of algorithm for quickly being able to sort and arrange athletes. But the Bachman brothers, as you guys probably know, they are on the Puerto Rican world team. They've been, both Joe and Fred have won U17 world medals in the past. Fred is back on the Puerto Rican U17 world team. Joe is not this year, so that's why he's going to compete in Fargo. But he hasn't been competing in USA Wrestling events, so he's not going to have points to be seeded. So he could be just a total landmine thrown in this bracket. If that's the case, I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
These brackets are, especially, it's going to be junior 132. So we're talking it could be close to 200 entries. It'll be a round of 256.
Yes.
And if there are no pinpoints and true random draw, round of 256, 2 top 10 ranked guys.
Man.
Possibly. Probably not, though. Odds are not in the favor of that.
By the way, quick plug for a video that Tyler's working on that you guys I think are going to really like. We went to the Bachman house and we followed them during the first day that Joe Bachman could be recruited. Joe, one of the top recruits in the class of 2027. So you guys are going to love that. And man, it's crazy. Have you guys talked about that on here at all?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't.
I'll tell you what. Years ago, I was talking to Jack Consiglio's dad, Vito. You guys know Jack. He's at Stanford, and he told me you guys got to at some point you got to see the Bachman house. He's like he was describing it the way he's describing it is just this crazy wrestling house. There's all these wrestlers around all the time, and they have this basement. And when they were little, they had this insane practices and super intense. And he's describing it. I'm like, I wonder if he's embellishing a little bit. I don't know. Man, we went there and we didn't get to spend a ton of time there because the 14th that then rolls in the 15th, that was Final X. So we drove straight from the Prudential Center in New Jersey, hour and a half to the Bachman house. And when we got in the front door, I mean, there must have been 40, 45 people in that house. A lot of them are top ranked wrestlers, just all scattered everywhere. It was nuts.
It was a madhouse.
Yeah, I was interviewing you in the driveway before we went in, and just from outside the house, we could hear so many people inside. We were like, "What are we about to step into?" And they said on any given day they might have between 10 to 30 extra people, and they already have 8 kids.
Yeah.
And that wasn't just for the recruiting. It wasn't just because you guys were there. It's just that's the norm at the
That's
Bachman.
what we kept asking because I kept thinking they're playing it up a little for the camera, and everybody we talked to, and they're dads from New York. There's everybody we talked to is no, this is every weekend, and the mom's yeah, sometimes during the week too.
Yeah, dude, there's so many bunk beds in that house.
Yeah,
I would love to see their trips to Costco.
yeah.
Coming back with just 12 shopping carts.
Yeah,
filled to the-
I'd love to know what their neighbors think. It's what is going on?
They're running a junior fight club in there.
Dude,
Project Mayhem.
Dad said that. Bray didn't it because I was just going through Connor's footage because me and Connor were both there, and I was with Joe while Connor and Bray were interviewing their dad, and he was like, "Yeah, there's no parking around here," so all the neighbors are like, "What's going on in there?" They see all these because when it started, they were all little kids. The basement boy, they don't really do a ton of training in the basement anymore because all
just too big.
Kids are too big now. They used to cram 30 kids in their basement. And they're looking at all these third graders marching into this house. They're like, where are they all going?
Yeah.
And that's the only downside of living in Texas. No basements.
No basements.
Yeah, can't run a basement fight club.
Yeah.
Gotta get a ranch.
Dude, that was another direct quote from his dad. He's like, the first few years, us dads, we didn't really know what we were doing. It was almost kind of like a fight club.
Maybe they are planning Project Mayhem too.
Yeah. So anyway, but just to plug, that video is going to be awesome when it comes out. Just a super unique wrestling family and story. So you guys are going to love that. But the other thing that's really interesting, you brought up, maybe a match between Bachman and Sam Herring is I mean, these are the top 2 high school programs in the country, right? Last year, Faith Christian and Bishop McCourt. We didn't see that. We haven't seen that match in high school, Herring and Bachman. And it could be a match that we see. Maybe it's a round of 256. Maybe it's a Fargo final. Who knows? But I think it's one that people are gonna be really interested in. Joe Bachman coming up in weight. He was one. I can't remember the 120. I think it was 127 in Pennsylvania is the weight. But state champ there. Sam Herring has wrestled up. Now he's kind of coming down. So these guys are meeting in the middle a little bit. And I think that match would be a whole lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And then Fred, he's not wrestling because he's going to U17 Worlds.
That's right.
In Athens, right?
Yeah. So Joe didn't get the opportunity to try out for the U17 World Team this year. He was dealing with an injury. Then there was another wrestler who won the trials, and I think the deal was if he medaled at Pan Am's, then he got the spot, and he did. I think he was silver there. So if he hadn't medaled, they would have had a special wrestle off, but he did medal, so Joe didn't get the chance. So
there you go.
Now we luck out. We get to watch him in Fargo.
Cool.
Good for us.
Also, Jordan Rainey going to be making his return. He's been off the mat for a while. He has wrestled, in some events leading up to Fargo, right?
I don't
know.
You know what? He may have competed. It may have just been Jaden that competed in the Kentucky Freestyle State Tournament.
Okay.
Jordan may have, but yeah, he's been focused on rehab and getting ready to compete, and now he's going to, and he's gonna,
What weight is he at?
He's at 138.
Okay.
So he'll have some really tough guys in there. Moses Mendoza, very good, Michigan commit. So we know who Tyler's pulling for there. Tyler DeCraker, Minnesota commit. Those are probably the 3 top guys at 138. But yes, what's Jordan Rainey look like? Back for the first real significant competition since U17 Worlds. I'm excited to see that. I think it's going to be really telling, and I think Oklahoma State fans in particular are going to be locked on that. And I expect him to look really good, but this is a tournament where you got to be good for a bunch of matches in a row to win it.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because Jordan Rainey, however long ago, because he wrestled Jax Forrest, right? And so like that match was one of the best matches in Who's Number One, back and forth, goes to overtime. Since then, Jax goes on. He's in Final X, and I think maybe if you're not following high school wrestling as closely, or if you forget, and it's like, man, Jordan Rainey was right there with Jax Forrest, and I think he's one of the guys where you kind of forget about it a little bit if you're not as dialed into the high school wrestling scene. So it's going to be great to see him back on the mat, and hopefully he's 100%.
Yeah, let's go. That's what Fargo's for.
Mm-hmm. All right, David, what are some other weights we should watch at a high level? Maybe some of the weights you're really keying in on, some of the toughest, deepest weights in Fargo.
Spade's been doing a lot of the organizing of the ranked guys this year. I think 120 is gonna be a lot of fun. That's one that you circled, and 120 every year is an interesting weight because you get a lot of the top ranked 106 pounders and 113 pounders moving up. Then we actually have a couple guys this year that are moving down from 126. So you get some guys that maybe aren't super familiar with each other. Spade, what'd you notice looking at that list?
Yeah, well, it was, so just on the numbers, it's the most ranked guys in any weight class, and then you got 10 guys or 8 in the top 10. If Tyler's pulling it in there, and it's Cam Santz. He's moving up. He's ranked. He's got the highest ranked, but Antonio Mills is the highest ranked guy at 120.
He's at 126. Mills is coming down to 126. Yeah,
there you go. And some guys were coming down. You probably know them better, but look, you got, and then at number 9, or the 8th highest ranked guy there is Dunia, who he's going to where is it?
North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah. He won Fargo last year.
Yeah, he was a surprise champ in Fargo last year. Looked really good. I think he beat Revin Dickman, who's ranked 6th in Fargo last year. He looked awesome.
Yeah, and Rosas is coming up, right? Mm-hmm. Louisiana guy. Good to see Louisiana. So it's not going to be just the Frost brothers forever. Good state on the rise. But it's 120. That's for juniors. That gets all your guys that were the lightweights and the 16U guys. And then when they graduate, when they age up, they start to grow a little bit more. And now you throw them all in the mix there, and that's why I thought 120 was good, just because so many guys from different weight classes were coming together, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch of weights with, almost double, 9 ranked guys at 138. You've got 6, you said 6 future stars in the girls.
Yeah, so
16U 106.
Yeah, no, that's guys.
Oh, that's guys 16. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
I got there's 19 ranked at 155 in the girls junior bracket.
What?
It should be said that the girls rankings go out to 30.
Yep.
So you got 10 more ranked people than you do in the boys rankings. But that's one where there's a lot of people moving up from 145, which is a weight, or maybe they're ranked at 170 and they're moving down. So 155 is crazy. It's got the number 1 at 155, Ella Poalio. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And then Sarah Henkel, I think, is ranked like number 6, but she is a 2-time Who's Number 1 competitor, including a Who's Number 1 winner. And then it just goes on there. We got on the screen there, a whole bunch. 106 at the 16U for the boys, I wanted to highlight because it's like that is your future star weight. That's the guys 106. Those are the weight classes, or that's 155 for the girls. Sorry, I skipped back to 106 because I like that because it's like everyone's like, oh, we need more lightweights. We need more light. Well, the tournaments are where the lightweights really shine because dual meets makes it real tough. You're just going to have a tough time with all the high schools filling that 106-pound weight class. But then when you get to a national tournament, now you got ranked guys. The 16U brackets aren't going to have a lot of ranked guys. That's just life. That's just they're too young. They're going to mature more. But these are your future stars. The 106-pounders, famously, like everyone from David Taylor to Hayden Zilmer. Guys grow up, get bigger, obviously. But check out these guys. We got Keegan Bassett. Registered. I recognized Cash Larkin from Arizona, another Larkin guy. And then you got the fact that there are 4 other ranked guys. Just shows that this is a deep weight class. I see this as a future star weight class.
Yeah, I don't know for sure if Keegan will wrestle. We could just ask, but I remember last year Bo Bassett was registered, and then he was on the he was
U20
on the U20 team and didn't compete. And I think Keegan may be in the same boat. He's on the U17 team, so we'll see. Yeah. But that's a fun one. Yeah,
and if you're just listening and you can't see what we're talking about, you can go to the website, and Bray and Spay, they got all this content just at your fingertips, where you can look at all the lists of wrestlers that you want to look at, the deepest weights, all the ranked wrestlers. So go check it out.
JD and Andy both made some nice contributions recently, looking at some of the more historical facts. Shout out to Jason Bryant's Wrestling Almanac for providing all that background info there. I think Andy's article mentions it. So you can get lots of good Fargo history, and as well as what to look for in 2025.
There you go. Go do it. The other, I think, really fun thing about Fargo, and especially last year, was like maybe the biggest storyline out of Fargo was that it sets the stage for Who's Number 1. We saw it with Bassett and Zepeda, where there was just so much hype built around their matchup and their potential matchup at Who's Number 1, and then we saw it play out in a really incredible way. And so, kind of my question for you, David, coming into it, and Spay on the women's side, because you're the women's matchmaker. People might not know that.
We got with me and David. I mean, everybody helps. Everybody contributes. Want to give Kyle Klingman some credit because he's always being consulted with those things. But it was just kind of when we went to a full. It used to just be you would get 1 or 2 women's matches in Who's Number 1, whatever we could kind of figure out at the time. And then when we made the decision to go full women's card along with the men's card. It was just okay. Who's around that wants to do it, and so that's kind of became a thing.
Yeah. So what are the weights? Who are the wrestlers that could potentially earn a golden ticket in Fargo?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the golden ticket is so fun, and it's a little chaotic in Fargo because you really can't make any decisions about who is really eligible for a golden ticket until you know the finals matchups.
So many moving parts.
So many moving parts, right? Because you might have a final where the 2 guys in the finals are ranked like 18th and 19th, and then you have to decide like, well, is their body of work enough to all that? It's it's kind of our version of bean counting a little bit.
Yes.
But so we won't know for sure until we see the results of the semis, and then you have a few hours to decide who, if they win, will get a ticket, and who won't, and all that stuff. But like looking at the weights that are listed, I mean, I think there's a chance that this could be one of the biggest years on the boys' side for golden tickets. Like I think it's possible that we could see 8, 9, 10 golden tickets go out. It's also possible that it's like 4.
Yeah.
It just depends.
Yeah.
I think there are some really, some obvious contenders. Bo Bassett, Melvin Miller, we've already talked about. Heavyweight, whoever comes out of that gauntlet has a really good shot and a really good argument. This is one of the first, not the only, but one of the first years that I think there's somebody in 16U that might have a strong case in Salah Sarni at 175. That be 175 could be a Aaron Stewart versus Sarni match potentially at who's number 1, which would be a lot of fun.
They wrestled at trials, right?
Yeah, best of 3. I think Adam Waters is listed at 190. He's got about as strong a case as anybody at any weight to be there if he wins. 138. Jordan Rainey, Moses Mendoza, Tyler DeCraker, those type of guys at 138 could be in the mix. And then already mentioned 132 with Sam Herring and Joe Bachman. Those are all weights where you could see golden tickets.
Now you
Mate battles. What was it? Levi Haynes and Josh Barr.
They did. Levi Haynes and Josh Barr wrestled, and then
Josh Barr and Rocco Welsh.
Rocco Welsh, who-
Now reunited.
Yep. So
In State College, the two big monkey wrenches. The reason it's not just like, okay, you win Fargo and you're number 1 or number 2. Okay, where's my golden ticket? It's weight classes and then schedules of people are making world teams
on
now.
U17 team, U20 team, or they're whatever. Like so.
And it's
16U, but like quarters, semis, finals, they're all at the same time.
Yeah, and maybe she doesn't wrestle in one. I don't know. Maybe she wants to see what the field is. But right as of now, she's registered in both.
That's great.
At 105, Jacqueline Bouzakis is registered. 105 is in the junior for the girls is going to be a really good bracket. There's a lot of seniors. This is on the girls' side. I think you see more seniors that have finished their high school career, but they still want tough competition. There's not as many opportunities for girls to get good national tournaments. So a lot of people who are not eligible for who's number 1 are going to be competing there and can kind of upset the people who might potentially get a golden ticket. But Bouzakis has already been at who's number 1 before. She's got Sarissa Tucker and Violet Diaz as contenders in her bracket that are also coming back for more high school, and Haley Delgado and 16U. They're all like in the top 5. So if Bouzakis navigates that path, she'll probably get a ticket. Ella Poalillo from New Jersey. Girls, that's crazy stack. If you go through that gauntlet, you're going to get a ticket at 140, potentially Riley Hanrahan of Wisconsin. She's got a lot of seniors in her bracket that could ruin those plans, but she'll have her say. Violet LeSure of Pennsylvania. And again, apologies if I messed any of these names up. She's just a sophomore. She's got a lot of seniors in that 145-pound junior bracket. And then 2 people to watch out for at 120 and 125, respectively, is Kaylee Graber. She's got a real stacked weight class, and she's probably going to have Everest Leidecker if she is available. It'll be her at Leidecker's 4th, who's number 1, but she'll likely get an invite. And then if Graber navigates that tough bracket with, there's a bunch of seniors, Savannah Witt, there's some other folks. But and then finally, Emma Bacon at 125, another wrestler to watch. Very tough weight class, 125. Those middleweights are tough.
Cool.
So that's what to look for there. And we didn't do an article on potential golden tickets, but maybe now that we've just done all this research, you could see that. And you mentioned what college fans should look for, and I didn't do. You should go on the. And there are a couple people to add. So like I said at the top of the show, thank you for everybody pointing out anybody I've missed. I have not gotten around to editing all those yet, but that will be the project this afternoon. Cornell has the Cortez brothers. They're going to be wrestling freestyle and Greco in the junior divisions at 132 and 138. Cornell fans, you want to see the next 1-2 punch that's going to be making their way to Ithaca. Check out those brackets. Lehigh's got Dean Bechtold. A lot of people, the graphic, you left him out of our thumbnail for this show, Kozak.
That was intentional.
Yeah, that was a slight at all your Lehigh content.
I just know how to motivate. Bulletin board material.
That's right.
We're gonna motivate him. We're gonna get him to the top.
That's smart. So if he does win, it's because you gave him this motivation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lehigh fans will be pumped to see how he does against that kind of competition, these other blue chip recruits. Michigan's got some recruits at 138 and 157 in the freestyle juniors. They've got Moses Mendoza and Blake Crosby, respectively. Cosby.
Yep.
Oh, I put in that R. I've probably done that in the article too. But anyway, good catch. He's a local Michigan guy, so Michigan keeps the guys home. And then I just highlighted some schools. Penn, Wyoming, and Minnesota all have a half dozen or more commits, and a lot of them are doing freestyle and Greco. So if you're fans of those programs, and I know there are a bunch of them out there, check out. You're going to want to be tuned into Fargo and set your alerts, all that good stuff.
And the other primetime high school, not really primetime, but the other prime high school matchup, daytime high school matchup is Final X. It's Jack's Forest. Jack's Forest, Vito Russo.
Oh, it's happening
Monday.
at Fargo.
Monday.
It's happening in Fargo. It does feature a high school wrestler.
Yeah. Well,
insane.
If Jack's Forest loses and not making a prediction, can he then go enter? What is Greco still available to him?
He could do Greco. Greco's not till Friday. So
Yeah. So if he's like, I didn't come here for.
He could do beach.
And beach.
Beach is on Thursday.
Let's get 2 stop signs.
Yeah, easy. And then Tyler, have we gotten any more word from Howard Forest about the time changes? Still 3:50 Central Time?
I think it's still 3:50 Central Time.
All right.
And then 5 p.m. Central Time.
Okay. Cool.
cool.
All right, before we get into questions, I want to quickly highlight the Ranking Series tournament. It starts a week from today, and this is not hyperbole. It is a miniature world championships. If everybody that wrestles, or if everyone who's entered wrestles, there are some of the best guys in the world, and it'll be a huge test for some of our first time world team members.
Love it.
And I'm looking at David Carr. David Carr has number 1 Sherman Valiev in the weight, who just beat Sidakov. Number 3, I think, Salkazanov, who beat David Carr earlier this year, and Kota Takahashi from Japan, who beat Mitchell Messenbrink last year at U23 Worlds. So David Carr, this is a huge test for Carr at the Ranking Series tournament.
It's going to be in Budapest.
Yep, Budapest, Hungary.
Hungary.
Also, Levi Haynes. He'll have Gem Kralidze, who's world silver. Yurgesh, who beat Carter Starachi a couple years ago. Sakayev, who has wins over Chance Marsteller. Goliath was world bronze last year. There's Iran is going to be deciding their world team member potentially here. Nakoti's still recovering from injury. So it's a huge test for Levi Haynes.
And Kugi Mustides, or however it's said, from Greece.
He's beaten Kadi Magomedev and Chimizo in the past.
Yeah, that's at 79 kilos. That's going to be a fun one because that's like it's a non-Olympic year. A lot of these guys thinking of moving up to 86. It's a lot of talent.
And then Zahid Valencia, he'll wrestle, potentially Kadi Magomedev is in the bracket, and Ali Savadkoui from Iran, who beat Jordan Burroughs a couple years ago. Really big test for Zahid. I think a lot of people think Zahid can win Worlds this year, and this will really show us where he's at internationally.
Yeah. And Thick Kadi is looking really good at 86. Like
beating Nafanov.
He's got explosiveness. He's got some nice funky moves. That'll be a fun one.
Yep. And then Trent Hidley, Doran Karugliev, number 1 ranked guy in the world at 92 is there. And then Abakarov and Nurmagomedov from Azerbaijan, past world medalists, are in the bracket as well. So really what you're looking at here from these 4 guys, if they medal here, if they win gold, they're ready to go at Worlds. If they don't, then it's like, okay, what kind of gains, what kind of progress can they make before September? It should be a huge test.
And definitely don't write them off, because this is something that happens with U.S. guys. It happens with foreign competitors. They'll go to a ranking series, or it'll be before the Olympics. They'll get like a warm-up tournament and this is probably the last major tournament any of these guys are going to go to before Worlds.
Yeah.
And they'll take a loss, and you go, well, so much for the gold medal hopes. And then you get a new tournament at Worlds, and you got all these guys are close enough to beat each other, and they don't wrestle each other a ton, so it's not like they have like an established hierarchy, and you get new results. So stay positive no matter what happens here. And then you left out at 57 kilos.
Yeah,
Lilladol RBY potential match.
Lilladol RBY, which I think we'd all love to see that.
Yeah, give me that.
But then there's a bunch of international guys there as well that it's super deep. It's a great bracket, and it'll show us, like right now Lilladol's ranked, I think I have him ranked number 5 in the world. And part of that is in rankings in any level, but especially international, where you don't see guys hit too often. 57's a weight where a lot of turnover happens, a lot of guys move up or retire, and so Lilladol's just kind of slowly crept up the rankings, and it'll really tell us if he's number 5 or like maybe he's, closer to the 20 range. And
Yeah, there still might be some more parity there. You just
Right.
you don't see him hit.
so really looking forward to watching Lightning Luke. But
Kozak, I'm glad you made us talk about that because those international tournaments are near and dear to my heart. As is that spiffy shirt you're wearing. That's a nice Nike.
You like this shirt?
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool. Could you tell us more about I don't know, Nike and maybe some of their cool products?
I can tell you as much as you want to know about it.
I want to know,
Yeah.
like maybe if they have a new popular shoe.
They
coming
do,
up?
yeah. In fact, so here's the popular shirt you can get. You can go on, what is it, athleteps.com, but also their newest shoe, the Nike Inflict 4, which we have all around the office here. I wore them a couple weeks ago.
On the show.
Match ready. I put those things on. I was ready to go. Other shoes, maybe you got to break in a little bit, but the Nike Inflict 4, they're ready to go, and a bunch of different color waves.
Yeah, and many sizes available now. And you can go to athleteps.com, pick yourself up a pair. I want to start normalizing wearing them out. Just
Look at those right in front of our YouTube plaque.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful.
Wow.
that just means we're all millionaires.
Just flexing on everybody.
I do love that. Did I'm sure I have mentioned to you guys, but don't know if I mentioned it on
You've
the
never
show.
said it on the show.
I last year I did career day at my kid's school, and I was showing them little like videos and stuff of us, and there was one like video that from the studio, and the YouTube plaque was in the back, and that was like the one thing. I think I talked to like 6 groups of kids, and every group of kids was like, "Wait, you guys have a YouTube plaque? Like you guys, dude, you guys are.
What's it like being in a studio? Or are you wrestling? Tell me more. No.
Wait, you guys are YouTuber? Wait, you're a YouTuber? They're like,
With a plaque?
yeah, I was like, wow, yeah, I guess I don't know.
There you go.
That's how you impress that Gen Alpha.
Yep.
Yep. That's why I mean, those Inflict 4s are going to look good with or without the YouTube plaque.
Yeah. You don't need it. Yeah. So thank you for Nike for sponsoring our show.
We were getting some comments about how all you guys have some heat on your feet.
Oh yeah,
Oh, the clean white.
at
Yeah,
this.
Nike's right
Yeah.
there.
Or like Nike must have hooked them up with a discount code. That's
they
what
did.
people were saying.
They hooked us up.
Yeah.
And one of the things I like about these too, they kind of add, as someone who's only 5 feet 6 inches,
You get a little boost.
They add a good inch,
Yeah.
So there you go. All right, Tyler, you got questions for us?
I got questions for us. First one. All right, Spay. Aggressive. First one is from the Deadly Gopnik. He said, if Bo Nickel were to enter 86 kilos again, would he beat Dake/Valencia? Also, on the off chance he goes up to 92, do you think he medals? I think he would beat Hidley for it.
Well,
Thoughts?
It's a great question because Bo's been out of the wrestling arena for a little bit, and he might enter again. I think he might have a match with Jacob Cardenas coming up. I would love to see that. I can't say if he beats any of those guys yet. I mean, right now I would not favor Bo against the top guys at 86 or 92 just because it's been a while. He's been focusing on MMA. That's a serious job where if you don't commit yourself to MMA, you lose fights in a ring where a guy's trying to knock you out. So I would assume he's maybe not staying in peak wrestling form. Now, he's good enough where it might not take him very long to get back into that level where, he is either the best 86 or 92 kilo guy in the U.S. I could definitely see that. But right now, I'm assuming that the majority of his time is being spent on leveling up his MMA game. So right now, I would not pick him, but it would not shock me. And if he recommits to wrestling, which I would love to see, it would be great to see him win in the octagon too, but I would rather see him wrestle. And so, if he does commit to wrestling, I could see him being the pick.
it's been about 4 years, right, since he's been all in on wrestling. You can't. I mean, that's a significant period of time. I would not pick him to win right now, but like you said, give him a year.
Yeah, give him 6 months, and then maybe he's ready to go. It's not like he'll lack for wrestling partners. He's still in state college. So.
Yep.
Yeah. You wonder if that's in the back of his mind at all. Like if he's thinking, obviously losing one fight in MMA, it's not a big deal. So he can, go on and win. And then he's thinking world title. But it's kind of in the back of your mind. You lose a fight. You trained your whole life to be an Olympic gold medalist, world champion. That's your childhood dream. You're like, maybe I can go back and
hop back in. And then
I wonder too, like, I don't know. Right now, 86 feels like it has. It's pretty deep. Like it feels like it's deeper than it probably was when Bo Nickel was trying to make teams. But you had those two final bosses of David Taylor and Yazdani that just felt like big immovable objects. And I don't know that there's necessarily one of those guys at 86 right now. So even though it might be, a little tougher to get in that bronze medal spot right now, the gold seems a little more attainable than it did in the last Olympic cycle.
Well, and too, he's in the room with Kyle Dake. He's in the room with Aaron Brooks. He's still wrestling with them.
Yeah,
he probably
Snyder.
knows where he matches up. And so if those matches are close still, if he's competitive, you got to think that's at least hanging in the back of his mind.
Yeah. We got to tell those guys to start losing matches to Bo on purpose to convince him to come back.
Yeah.
All right. Next question from Mac Attack. He's just given a friendly heads up to the Fargo wrestlers. He said, I don't know if the word needs to get out.
Yeah.
The downtown YMCA sauna will be shut down over the tournament. This is coming from a Fargo resident that has sat in the sauna many times over the years over the Fargo tourney.
Oh. PSA.
You know what I told David? We got to get on our business grind here. Get some saunas, portable saunas.
Yeah.
Get them up to Fargo. Little.
Put them in the parking lot next to Buffalo Wild Wings.
We're not going to charge you. We're not going to overcharge you. We're just.
Yeah, we're not trying to squeeze you guys too hard.
No.
We just want to wet our beaks a little.
You sell the pickaxe on the way to the gold mine.
Right.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
you get it.
Smart guy.
Like that?
Great.
All right.
Did you graduate from like the business? You have a business degree?
I have an economics.
Where's the gold mine in
Private
Fargo?
equity.
I've never.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I never saw it.
Yeah, I have a degree in private equity. Next question is from the real Avery Lynch. He said, "Who is the best 1-2 punch in college wrestling history?" He thinks it's the Bannock brothers, Ed and Lou.
That's just because they're two of his favorite brothers.
Yeah, I think they were in his top two brothers.
Two of my favorite brothers are my actual brothers.
Yeah.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Us three?
I have two
Brothers? I have two brothers.
Wow.
Those are my favorite
I have two favorite brothers.
A little partial to the Smothers brothers. They were pretty
Yeah.
cool.
The Doobie Brothers?
Who's the best 1-2
Chemical
punch?
Brothers?
That's 1-2 punch.
I'm gonna go Zane Rutherford, Jason Nolf.
It's a pretty good 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
David Taylor and Ed
Ruth.
Ruth?
Yeah, that's what I.
That's a good one.
Which duo scored more points at NCAA's? You think?
Taylor Ruth.
No.
I don't know.
No.
It's tough, right?
No.
I mean,
oh wow.
The numbers are probably out there.
Yeah.
You could probably look them up.
I also liked Gilman, Corey Clark.
Yeah, that was fun. Let's see. Who else is 1-2?
Luke Stanich, Ryan Crookham, of course.
Which hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But Avery Lynch, he will appreciate that, being a Lehigh guy as well.
Yeah.
I like left cross, right uppercut.
I just usually go uppercut.
Luke Stanich, Ryan Crookham has happened as a 1-2 punch.
Yeah, it has.
Oh, 25.
Gabe
Yeah.
Dean.
I'm thinking 41.
Gabe Dean, Cam Simaz. That was a fun one.
Yep. Oh yeah, there was where did Bozak fit in there as well?
Oh yeah, maybe that's a 1-2-3 punch.
1, 2.
2, 3. All right. Next question is from Tanner Huffman. He wants to know, what's your favorite Fargo match of the last decade?
Oh,
Honestly, that Melvin Miller final last year was a really fun one to call.
Yeah, I wanted to cheat and say that too, since it's like fresh.
Yeah.
I had to go back and look.
There's been so many good ones though. Jordan Williams, Caleb Rachi.
Oh, with the super duck to the Iceman finish.
Yeah, I think. Well, he did super duck once, but the one I'm thinking about was I think was not. I don't think it was the duck. I think it was like did he maybe scramble to it? I can't remember. He's
to the lift and exposure.
Yeah, lift exposure. That one was crazy. Yeah, there's been so many good ones.
I liked the Ashton Sharp winning just because he then got on the mic and told us about the Burger King girl.
That was the greatest post match.
Post match, yeah. So that match itself was not as impressive, but shouts to the Burger King girl.
All right. Next question is from Wrestling Guru. He wants to know, when will Christian Piles stop ducking the Fargo smoke? Seems like after every Fargo, he says he'll go next year.
Yeah,
That's
I think
accurate.
he replied to that too. I think
Did
he
he?
said. I think he said that he's for sure going to go next year.
Okay.
Which is just playing into the.
Oh, he said, but next year for real.
Yeah,
For real.
So it's gonna be next year.
it's going to be next year. That's when he's going to stop.
I'll tell you what, if you could go to Fargo and not be on like the grind that we're going to be, where it's like for first match you're there, you're following everything you can, you're getting highlight clips, you're calling matches, and then you leave. It's 9:30, but it's still sun up or whatever, and you do that for 4 or 5 days in a row. If you could avoid that and just go to Fargo, it's a big wrestling convention. It's like NCAA's. It's there are coaches with gold medals, Olympic medals. There's wrestling royalty there. There's other, people in media that and you get to reconnect with. It's a fun event. It's so yeah. If CP wants to do that, that's a fun thing.
I think the thing that would increase the chances that he goes is if we book our lodging early enough to get that massive Airbnb that we had a couple years ago, because that was the most fun year. And this year,
CP hates missing out on some boys time.
The boys' time.
That's what you gotta get. That's what you gotta dangle in front.
I think that was the year I was getting my gallbladder taken out. Right?
Wait, I thought you were. Is that the?
That was not last 2 years. Was it 2 years ago?
2 years. Was that your gallbladder year 2 years ago? Okay.
Or maybe 3.
Wait, I thought you were in that. I thought you stayed in that house.
He was in that house.
I think you stayed in that house.
When JD ate the raw corn.
Oh, the corn. Yeah.
You were definitely on that trip.
Yeah, we were watching a lot of baseball.
That was when I remember Tyler was making a video and you walked in the background and said, what's up? What's going on, bozo?
Yeah.
Hi, bozo.
Hey, bozos. Yeah.
So, yeah, you were there for that. You did not miss it.
I didn't miss it. You're right. All right, yeah. Let's get a big Airbnb and give CP
and then
some
CP will
boys
come.
time FOMO.
He'll come for that.
People in the chat are calling Spay a stoner. They said that.
Really?
They're like, thanks for mentioning that shoes have different sizes, Spay. You're such a stoner. And now people are just calling Spay a stoner.
Wow. Right. Yeah. Well, I've been roasted in chats before. It wouldn't be the first time.
No pawpaws lately.
No, I'll take it. Whatever. Maybe it's. No, I don't think I mentioned anything. Anyway, stay away from the illegal drugs, guys.
On that note, Lefty Strat, this feels right up Spay's alley. He said, how awesome was that Oasis reunion?
This was a direct shot.
That's disrespectful.
Lefty Strat loves torturing me, as does Bader's brother, Andy. Oasis is not a great band. I don't know why they ever shot up to the top of everybody's list of awesome music. They got a couple catchy songs that basically sound the same. I'm not a hater. I don't want anybody not to enjoy Oasis. I just prefer not to. And then as soon as I made a thing where I called them one of the worst bands, everyone's like, oh, Spade, don't look back in anger, blah, 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 blah.
You know what I think we'll hear in Fargo? I think we'll get a mashup where you get an Ed Sheeran song. You think it's going to be Ed Sheeran, and then it's Wonderwall.
And then they break it right into Wonderwall.
Yeah. And that really gets Spade in the feels.
Yeah, because they tricked me. So thanks, Lefty Strat.
Virginia's for FRL wants to know who's the best top wrestler in high school right now.
The best top monster.
Man, that really threw me for a second. Jax has a lot of really good ways to turn.
I don't think of Marcus as a super.
He's also he's only got. I mean, he's going to college next year too. Let's see who's the best. Yeah, probably Jax. I mean, Bo can turn, but he's so odd times so focused on just
more takedown
machine gun mindset with the takedowns that he doesn't need to turn too much. Yeah, I think
feels like Jax.
Jax Forrest.
Jax Forrest. All right, it's just about 11:30. We're out of questions.
Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun.
We did it, boys.
Well done. Great guest hosting. Bray sitting in the main seat there.
And driving Kozak.
Yeah.
And being JD's role. Who needs those guys?
Someone
you only
actually
have 2 initials as your
It
name.
is harder than it looks.
It's funny. People notice. They're like, wow, Bray doing CP's job and Kozak doing JD's job. It feels like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah. And we're just doing our same old.
Yeah. Well, hey, we do appreciate you guys tuning in to this Twilight Zone episode of FloWrestling Radio Live. Don't ever forget episode 1145. It was a great one. Maybe one of the best. We'll see. For John Kozak, Andrew Spay, Tyler Meisiger, I'm David Bray. We'll see you guys in Fargo, and we'll see you next time.